Hey Ratbags, it's Jade. Palworld's latest update is here and a brand new island to explore. 6 times larger than Sarakajima and absolutely it is massive. So I'm going to show you guys a little few tips today, what I've learned after my first few hours exploring. There is so much to go through. There's brand new weapons, there's brand new mechanics like research and sending your pals out on expeditions to get resources. Plus bounties, metal detectors, 3 new resources that you'll definitely want to get hold of early, so let's go. So very basics, if you don't know, the new island is all the way to the southwest. But be warned, as you get closer you'll get the warning that you're on a flyer and there's basically lots of turrets. Just like you found maybe on some of the oil rigs, they are dotted all around the brand new island. And they are pretty formidable. If you do get caught in them, I got killed each and every single time. So you've only got a few seconds to hopefully get off. So bring a water creature with you to hopefully get across the easiest and safest way. There of course is a fast travel point right to the north, so make sure you trigger this as soon as you land on it. There are a ton of dangerous pals all around these areas, so be warned if you've got your pal appearance, how many can spawn in one area turned up high, you may want to reduce that somewhat. Feybreak is no joke, these absolutely were filled with the hardest and toughest pals I've come across so far, so make sure you bring your best. So there are 2 brand new resources that you'll need to go ahead and mine using your pickaxe. This is hexalite quartz. It's really easy and you find it pretty much dotted all around the coastal regions and a lot of the Feybreak island. Not so easy to find is the second new resource, Chromite. You basically need either a new metal detector to go ahead and find it. You can see it pulsing. It only works when you're riding a creature or running around, not any flyers. Or there is a brand new pal called Smoky, which can also do the same job, but it's a bit slower as you have to keep triggering it once you put a saddle on it to basically wait and find it. Now I tried going around the whole map, I seem to only be able to find it so far in these red areas, which are basically further inland once you get over to the Feybreak new island. I definitely think you could probably get some from some drops as well, so make sure you're checking them out. And I'm more likely to do a full detailed guide on all the locations if there are very specific places. But basically keep running around the area with a mount that you can ride that runs along the ground and hopefully have your metal detector out while you're doing it. It's worth noting though, you won't be able to unlock the metal detector until you get to level 56, and that's when you can combine the metals and resources you're getting to make the new metal hexalite, which is needed for a lot of the brand new endgame gear. You also need a new upgraded furnace to go ahead and make this as well. So I wouldn't panic or worry too much about trying to find these 2 ores just yet. Certainly get the crystal and yeah, maybe go and get the smoky. But I would just go and explore, capture lots of pals and just run around exploring the rest of the island before worrying or trying to concentrate too much. There's actually one more resource that you might want to think about getting, is making sure you go and explore the brand new island at night time, as you'll find these small deposits of glowing sand. They will persist early on into the morning, but eventually they will disappear and you won't be able to gather them again until night. This is night star sand and you do need it to craft quite a bit of some of the new gear, especially when it comes to certain things like some armor pieces. There are brand new armor pieces that can give you extra dash abilities or double jump, so it's something you can craft now and unlock in your blueprints. But yes, you will need some of this night star sand. If you always found it hard getting more ancient technology points, well, there's an easy way now, as there's a whole ton of bounty targets that you can find. You'll be able to see them all on the map pretty much, which is a bit odd, unless maybe I've got a mod lingering and it shouldn't really be showing all of them. At this stage of the game they're not that challenging for me, but obviously they could be a bit tough for you depending on what level they are, and you will get an ancient technology point for the first time obviously that you kill them. I'm not too sure if they respawn after a certain set amount of time, but there are loads of them scattered around, pretty much about the same number as you would have found the alpha or the boss pals. I'm sure you'll be able to find some of these bounty trader officers in lots of other NPC locations, but I found one on the southern fishing village, and here you can basically exchange your bounty rewards that you get for killing them to convert into either some of the brand new ancient PAL manuscripts that you'll need to do more research, which we'll go over in a second, or high grade technical manuals, which obviously give you technology points. There's also some other fruits here as well, but they obviously cost a lot more. They'll generally give extra life to your PALs, a little increase, or give it more power. Obviously they're not new, but fairly new to me because I didn't really get a chance to play or mess around with them last time I played Palworld with the big update. So there is a PAL labour research laboratory that you can need to unlock, and then once you've placed and built it, you'll be able to go ahead and devote some resources to research different abilities that will basically increase all of your PAL's traits. So if you want your handy workers to be faster, then you could go ahead and invest and increase the speed that they work up to 35%. Each one of the PAL perks and the research skill tree will have various different little buffs and also some unlocks. Now, where you had decorative items that used to be able to buy, now you'll be able to just earn them or unlock them by going ahead and devoting some of the ancient PAL manuscripts that you've managed to exchange or find and some resources. It will take a few minutes, and obviously you can see you can do it up to 20 different times, so basically 20 points to max it all out in a tree. And obviously some of the other traits, it won't be as many. So if you want your kindling to be quicker, then make sure you go and invest in the research for kindling and increase the percentage of how fast it takes. A lot of the early unlocks require just simple basic resources that you've already probably got, but the ancient PAL manuscripts you're probably going to have to go and find and loot a lot more of them. But definitely do this as soon as you can. It's definitely geared towards more of a fresh playthrough. PAL Search Laboratory is relatively early, and you can obviously check it out in the technology blueprint yourself. At level 15 you can now unlock the PAL Expedition Station, and this is a large item. You might not be able to fit in close to your base if you build it up, so I recommend setting up a second base purely maybe just to have this. You can really see how big it is, so yeah, good luck trying to fit it in on a base. Definitely a good idea to get this started as soon as you've loaded up the Feybreak update, because you can start sending your surplus of PALs on expeditions to get you resources. There is one caveat though, you're going to have to go and do a lot of the tower boss fights again. So you can see the Rain Syndicate Tower, the Free PAL Alliance Tower, the Eternal Pyre Tower, the PIDF Tower, etc. So complete them towers, and then you'll be able to send your PALs effectively on expeditions into dungeons. You won't actually have to do anything or protect them, but there is kind of an art to it. The tougher the actual dungeon, then the more resources you get, but also the more stronger PALs you're going to need. Also, some of the expeditions will require a certain type of PAL, so you'll only be able to send maybe earth or fire PALs into one of these. So I quickly went and took on Zoe and Griswold once more, and then it was unlocked. I could do the cave in the grasslands, and then effectively you can click on the auto assign and it will send pretty much all your PALs to go and complete it. Each one of your PALs has obviously got a firepower level, so depending on how high they are, you might only need to send a few in, but it still might take you around half an hour to go and clear out and get the rewards. If you don't feel completely the right recommended amount, so for the cave it was 25,000, then you won't get as much of the rewards back. And the more PALs that you send with higher firepower, then you can literally do these caves in just a few minutes. So definitely click on the auto assign and then just remove some if you really want it. You're not worried about it taking a bit longer because maybe you're going to be using some of them PALs. As far as I know, they don't necessarily die, they just simply will be busy for the next how many minutes, and then that's it. They'll come back with a ton of loot. It was really funny seeing them all run into the cave. And here's all the loot that I managed to get via them doing it. So a few manuscripts, some civilization parts, basically everything that you'd find sometimes by going into a dungeon. So again, if you're running light on a few resources, you might want to consider sending your PALs. Obviously, if you haven't got that many PALs yet, then don't panic too much about this. But it is something absolutely, if you've got tons of them just laying around, you might as well do it and send it. There are so many new PALs or variants of some of your favourite ones now available. I'll be covering them in a separate video. But there are also some brand new NPC enemies. These are basically the Feybreak Wild Men, berserkers, whatever you want to call them. They're pretty easy to take on compared to some of the other pals obviously in the area, just like a lot of the NPCs, and they will fight some of the pals as well, so it can be good distraction actually just let them help you. But they will be guarding some of the towers, which of course you can go ahead and disable, so that eventually you will be able to fly all across the Feybreak Island without getting shot down. Just like it is with the oil rigs, you can go ahead and turn them off. I didn't really mess around with them too much, but there are new mods that you can apply to your actual spheres, which will help you basically tame them. They can arrive in different formats and you need to unlock them in the tech tree, and also now if you aim directly on a weak point, you've got a chance of doing a critical hit with a sphere and effectively reduce the time and basically make it a bit easier to tame certain pals. There are just so many unlocks, it's definitely going to be worth you getting as many technology points as possible. So don't pass up on the opportunity to take care of them bounty targets. And as always, dungeons are a great place to go and loot to hopefully find some of the technology books or some of the research papers you need. If you're really tired of always wanting to have to go and find your favourite skill fruits, you can go ahead and plant and grow them now. It's another brand new unlock that you can go ahead and unlock in tech tree, and then just put any kind of skill fruit inside and make sure you obviously got a water pal and come back. It does take a while though, for sure. In fact, it took around 2 hours just to grow one of the skill fruits. Still worth having around for sure, so make sure you set up a few of them and yeah, put some fruits in as soon as you get a chance to. There's just so much to go over in this update, and I'm definitely going to be doing lots more guides, but I want to make sure I'm concentrating on them and obviously putting more time in. But I figured that is at least showing you the basics and what you should probably focus on doing first. Don't forget as well, soul powers have been increased now, so you can keep upgrading your pals. Liturgy power level has also been maxed out to level 14 now. And for sure I will go over the details of all the new weapons and obviously all the pals once I capture all of them. I've done a complete patch notes breakdown video. If you want to see more details, go and watch that, and I'll see you ratbags later.